Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. If you couldn't tell by the title, I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to go about discussing this, but it's something I wanted to talk about because it gives us a lot of insight into the future of Apex Legends and what this game could be. We talked about this before, but in the past, the Respawn devs have mentioned that they want to turn Apex into more than just a battle royale. And over the past few years, we've gotten an idea of what they meant by that through things like the mixtape playlist, the arenas mode, and all these LTMs that sort of shake up what we think of when it comes to Apex Legends. But this is the first time since Season 5 that we've seen anything on this level when it comes to the lore of Apex. Back in Season 5, there were these missions you could go on with your friends where you traveled through Revenant's realm and try to find out more information about the character. They were relatively simple. It was basically just a horde mode where you fought off zombies and tried to escape within the time limit after you found the item. But the thing is, everybody enjoyed them and wanted more of those missions. So it was kind of disappointing after Season 5 when they never did anything like that again and only delivered the story through comics. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy reading the Apex lore, but things like this mission are more in line with the expectations that Apex set for the game early on. I think we can all agree that Loba and Revenant are the most interesting story that they've created in all of Apex. Even from the very first introduction of Revenant, he's always just been an interesting character. And the antagonistic relationship between Revenant and Loba is something that has driven the story forward for a long time. Yes, there are elements from the Titanfall story that we're all curious about, but I think that for most people who play Apex, it feels like it's its own game. And in my opinion, it deserves exploration of its lore separate from that of Titanfall. One, so that we can explore the Apex lore deeper, but two, so they can stop having an excuse to not make Titanfall 3. Anyway, I was surprised to see just how much work went into this mission. Sure, it's just effectively a platforming puzzle. By the way, there are some very embarrassing moments in this footage of me playing through this mission. I don't know what to tell you. I spent way too long on the zipline puzzle, and I also didn't realize at the time that your ultimate unlocked when you got to the key card. So I spent way more time than I should have trying to figure out how to get the key card from behind the glass. All I can say is it's been a long time since I played a platforming game. So just overlook this. The point I was getting at though is that Respawn is very good at designing a toolkit and then creating a level that allows you to use those tools to solve problems. Sure, this one is fairly simple. You're just throwing Loba's bracelet to get from point A to point B most of the time, but there are some creative elements here, like using the bracelet to get through small spaces, or even the concept of using her ultimate to grab an item. And as I was playing through this level, I couldn't help but think, man, how many of the other legends have abilities that could be used for something like this? If you've played or even heard of Titanfall 2, there's a good chance that you know about that mission. The one where they give you the phase shifting device, and as you play through the level, you realize that the phase shifting is you going between the future and the past. And by utilizing that mechanic, you can engage with the combat and the platforming in a way that's so creative. I would put it on the same level as something like Portal. I honestly don't think I've seen anything that compares to it since. So seeing that mission really made me think that Respawn could capture that magic and bring it into Apex Legends. It also kind of took me back to Overwatch. I don't really want to open this can of worms in this video, but the idea that Respawn, with no announcement at all, can release a mission that's this well put together that utilizes the Legends abilities in a unique way. But Blizzard, a company that basically promised the same thing, can't even deliver on that after years of development time. Again, I really don't want to get into it, but it does make you think that as much flack as we give EA and Respawn for their money grubbing, things like this still do happen. There is still creativity at this company. But upon mentioning that, it does bring us back to why I was having trouble figuring out how to structure this video. Because as fun as this mission was, and as cool as it might be to be finally getting lore stuff again in Apex, this mission dropped right before yet another prestige skin released. And maybe it's just me, I hate prestige skins. I think they're a waste of development time. I think they're a waste of money. I don't think that it makes sense to sell something for $160 when you can't even see it in game. Heirlooms, $160, yeah, it's a lot of money, but you see it in game every time you use your legend. There isn't some piece to that heirloom that you can't access within one game. Whereas the prestige skin, there are 3 separate skins, meaning that once you unlock the final version of it, you're probably not going to use the other 2 because the reason you wanted to unlock it in the first place is so you could use the finisher. The finisher isn't on the first 2 versions of the skin, so it kind of feels like a waste. Not to mention the prestige skins could have been used similar to the weapon prestige system in a way that allowed you to show off your dedication to that specific legend. But I suppose at this point we're kind of just beating a dead horse. And if I'm honest, I kind of haven't been that interested in cosmetics for Apex lately. Maybe when they bring out a prestige skin for Pathfinder, I'll be somewhat tempted, but as it stands right now, there's no reason for me to spend any money on this game. So as a now mostly free-to-play player, the idea that we can get missions like this from Respawn more often in the future is exciting. And what's even better is that we might finally get closure to the Revenant Loba storyline. It was obvious that they could never really remove Revenant from the game, so there was no way for Loba to kill Revenant, but the idea of his core programming being changed opens the door for lots of interesting possibilities. And the fact that Respawn is completely revamping Revenant's abilities kind of addresses one of my concerns for the future of this game, which is that eventually we're going to get to a place where we have too many legends. Truthfully, we might already be there, but as more legends come into the game, you get to a point where all of the old legends are obsolete. You have somebody like Lifeline, who is not a bad character by any means, but when you have someone like Newcastle or someone like Gibby, or even to an extent now Mirage, who can effectively do her job better, there's not really a place for her in the game. But on the other hand, if you're going to release new legends, they have to do something that makes them better than the legends that already exist. As much as I love Ashe, I understand that people feel she's just a lesser version of Pathfinder, Octane, or Wraith. She sort of does a little bit of what they all do, but she doesn't do it better than any of them, so there's no reason to pick her over the other legends unless you just happen to like elements of her kit. I personally think trapping people with the snare is hilarious, but that's not enough to make other people play the character. When your team is only made up of 3 legends, there's not much room for competition. That means the most picked legends are going to have to be those that stand head and shoulders above the rest. I honestly don't think it's feasible for them to make all of the legends equally strong. Apex Legends has always been built as a gun game first, so the abilities can never be strong enough to bring them into complete balance with one another. At least that's my perspective. All that to say, I do think that revamping Revenant and possibly even revamping some of the other legends could be the way to go moving forward for the balance of this game. But I suppose with that, I'm done ranting. I am extremely excited for Season 18, and I just can't wait to see what Apex does next. But I want to know about you. What are you excited about for the next season? Or have you stopped playing Apex Legends altogether? Let me know in the comments below. Also, remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.